This is a Tape Deck podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to We'll Run For. This is your host, Tom. With me, as always, are Erin.
Hello.
Michael. Hello. And Diana.
Hi. Indy's here, too. He's so bad.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. He's going to town on that.
Oh, and now he's coming over. Now he's going to come over here and just stress everyone out.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. I saw lots of people enjoyed his stick
The stick content?
adventures. His stick content.
Yes, I told you. He was very proud of that stick.
Yes, he was.
So proud. Ollie Cat right now is just laying on the guest bed, soaking up Greg and Orlando's scent
His essence.
because he misses his buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, Greg came north.
He did. Last minute decision. Saw him at Springtime Surprise, which we'll talk about. And we had Michael's 100th this weekend, and he was like, "Hey, maybe I'll fly up for that." I was like, "Oh, interesting."
Mhm.
The next thing I knew, he was booking a flight.
Yeah, he was
I
like,
almost froze him out of the house this morning.
God. When we saw him at Springtime, he's like, I don't know if it'll hurt or help being there.
Yeah.
He was very concerned.
Well, I think that Michael has had, some concerns of pressure of having somebody else there if they were coming just specifically to pace him. But in the end, he was like, no, I just want to come crew, support, whatever I can do. And, me hanging out with him or having somebody to hang out in the woods, especially in the middle of the night, I think actually in the end made Michael feel better that I wouldn't be completely alone. So
Yes, that was helpful.
it ended up working out well. It worked out, and we will talk about that. And I'm sure if you've seen our social media, you know how it all went anyway.
Well,
And I'll maintain you're a better wife than I am, because the daytime crewing would have been possible, but once it got dark, I'd have been like, and I will see you in the morning.
Well, luckily we didn't have to test
We didn't have to worry about that.
power of my resolve to crew overnight too much.
I had a very good time. Yeah.
So who knows how it would have went, Diana? I don't know. We'll find out next time.
We'll find out at Loopy Looper.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
When y'all are
Except that I might
when y'all
actually
get sloppy
do that.
and show up late.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Diana might be the only one swimming in the swimming pool. I haven't decided what I'm doing at Loopy Looper yet.
No.
Oh God, you'll find me sleeping in the car.
You're on fireball shot duty.
No, you know how I feel about Fireball.
Hey, we've talked about Fireball. We've talked about this a couple times since the weekend. If I was actually racing a race like that, I don't actually think that I would partake. It's different when I fun run in Disney, but doing 100-miler, because we had a couple friends who were drinking through it. And I said that I don't know that I would actually drink during the actual race.
That's how you numb the pain.
Yes.
It is, but it's also how your stomach turns.
Oh
on you.
yeah, 100%.
I recall a fireball story, two fireball stories, if you'll indulge me. First, during the Rockin' the Knob 10K, right before Throat Punch Hill, I took a fireball shot, and then me and Kate huffed our way up that hill. I think it took us 25 minutes to get up that hill.
I don't doubt
So that
it.
was nice.
And
And then Erin, I do recall you had a birthday at Space Coast, and we overindulged a little bit.
Yeah.
I had a lot of Fireball at that one.
Remember when you
It's a
couldn't?
different kind of race.
Remember when you were looking for the dolphins,
Yes.
and every time you would look, they would go under the water?
It was so funny. That was my favorite moment. Like, she was so mad.
I was so sad I didn't get. Everyone's like, "Look, the dolphins!" I'd look over and they'd be
They'd
gone.
be gone immediately. And all the alcohol was warm because everyone had it in their pouches, on next to their body.
Oh, God.
Oh gosh. Anyway,
So, hold on. There's a dog outside, and our dog is now Karen. He loves to look out the window and make comments on the neighbors passing by.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Do we have any announcements?
I don't know. By the time this comes out, Virtually Live will be closed.
Right?
So we have until this Friday, so there's really, I don't know. I hope you signed
We have
up.
5 more spots as of right now. And I'm going to will
Which won't matter.
And
to
It doesn't
misinformation's
matter.
helping no
It
one.
doesn't matter, but I'm going to call it right now. I'm willing it into existence that we will sell this race out by this Friday, which then 2 or 3 days later is Monday, and that's when you'll hear me say this.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good.
So there you go.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else.
We'll be doing the race on May 13th.
Yep.
Oh no, because it's after Broad Street. Also, forget that. May 13th. We'll be doing it at Cooper River Park. If anybody wants to come.
Yeah, this episode drops on the 1st of May, and our next episode drops on the 15th. So I guess I'm not really sure how where we're gonna squeeze the recap in for that. We'll have to figure that out.
That's down.
Well, Michael and I will post where we're gonna be for the Virtually Live. If anybody wants to join us, that's in New Jersey. I don't even know who in New Jersey is signed up offhand.
And we'll do the same thing for the Maryland crew.
Yeah, we'll do one of the lakes. Which one? I don't know.
Pick a lake.
Pick a lake.
We
will be also going around a body of water, but it will be Cooper River
It'll be a
Park.
river.
Ooh, fancy.
The one that Tom will be going around a lot
Yeah,
of
a
times in
lot
a few
more
months.
times.
At the base
Yeah.
of the Ben Franklin Bridge. Is that what the one?
Nope.
No.
Look, I don't know. I don't
But
know where
you
I am.
can
Is that
see
where
the
you guys
skyline.
where you guys got married?
No.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
where we got
that's
married.
where we got
Yeah,
married.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was supposed to be at the base of the Ben Franklin, but it was.
Which is
at
why
Cooper
I
River.
worked in
Yeah.
Ben Franklin into the ceremony.
Yes.
Back on the rails.
Back on the rails.
Michael.
Oh, I will say,
Never mind.
you come to the Will Run For podcast for hot takes, and I will not be apologizing for or changing my stance on race certificates. I stand by that opinion.
We only really got one person.
Oh,
Oh.
Mallory
For some
said she
reason,
doesn't
none of
do.
us- Well, she said, but she didn't say she saves them the same way Jamie does. Jamie, who nobody is surprised by this, prints them out, puts them in a binder exactly how we said. Somebody who listens to this probably prints them out and puts them in a binder with their
And
their
he
bib.
does. It was
And
so cute.
We got a picture from him of his binder and how he puts them all together.
Look, I'm already like the printer thing is one area, but I'm already shooketh because apparently Gen Z no longer carries cards
Look,
at all.
can we not?
Like I do Apple Pay a lot, but I still
almost never carry a
I
card.
always have a card with
you
me.
guys have an awful lot of faith in the batteries of your phones.
Yeah, like
I guess we do because we both like ever since my cards went into here, I have my license and my insurance card in my pop socket, and that's the only things in there.
like what if they don't take Apple Pay?
Then they're not getting my business.
It's so wild.
Like I don't know what to tell them.
I mean, I guess because most of the places I go, like Target, Trader Joe's, like Whole Foods, like all
Acme,
those places that we go,
Wild.
generally take Apple
It's
Pay.
wild.
And otherwise, I'm ordering on DoorDash or like some other app. I don't know.
Shooketh.
get with the times.
I'm
people.
shooketh.
Back on the rails, Tom.
I'm
Michael.
shooketh.
Do we have any 5-star reviews?
We do have 2. Thank you, everyone, for your 5-star reviews. We have Villa Khan. Hilarious. I found you guys through Greg at the Rise and Run podcast. I'm so glad he told me about you.
Sounds
You're
suspicious.
hilarious and so hilarious and so entertaining to listen to. My neighbors must think I'm crazy as I go running past their house, literally laughing out loud at things you talk about.
No, I love
Who
that.
laughs while running alone?
Look, I wasn't going to do it because I'm above trolling, but it's weird that Greg's name shows up in a 5-star review and he didn't show up to the Peloton Challenge in February, which is just weird. If all goes to plan, I will have run Broad Street with him yesterday. So
Yeah, that's true.
me and him
In the
have
rain.
10 flattish miles in Philadelphia to become best friends.
Aw.
Yeah, they are pretty flat.
Oh,
yeah.
so no more nemesis?
I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Is that what we're
I'm
saying?
kind of over the trolling thing.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. The final. Thanks for taking my mind off the run and helping the miles fly by.
Yay.
And the next one's from my good friend Wendy Larson, hand cyclist. One of my faves. I've been listening to this podcast for a few years now and finally figured out how to leave a review. That can only mean it's raining and my training got delayed because apparently all I do is train and listen to this podcast. She does train a lot. I will give her that. Seriously, though, I love listening to these four friends and runners. They keep things real, talk about ups and downs, great sense of humor. Love Disney, but aren't completely brainwashed by the mouse, and their pets make frequent appearances. Oh, they did tonight.
Oh, yeah. We'll see how much of that makes
What's
it
not
in.
to love? We'll put some dog content at the end just for Wendy.
Yeah. Wendy actually did a huge training run in the rain. What was that, Saturday or Sunday? Where she posted, I saw on her Instagram
really?
where she was just like, I think it was 50 miles or something in the rain.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I think we
Oof.
missed it because
I
we were
missed it,
out
yeah.
on the trail.
Yeah.
It was a little busy on Saturday, so I missed it.
I don't know
but,
what you were doing.
I don't know.
Nothing good. That's for
Nothing
damn
good,
sure.
That's for sure.
I was thinking about her because it was weird. Like when you guys were at Springtime Surprise, I guess, I was watching the Boston Marathon from home and I saw the starts and I saw the wheelchair start, but not the hand cyclist because they don't. And I remember her talking about that. They don't really give a whole lot of love to the hand cyclists at Boston.
Yes, I agree. We talked about that last year. Because I was confused when I didn't see them at all because I thought we were going to see Wendy and then there was nothing. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know.
Outrage.
Come on, races, do better. Hashtag race report.
Mhm.
Seriously.
Yeah. There were a few people at Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our friend runDisney did his first Boston.
Yeah. Karate.
He'll talk about that in his goal getter.
Goal
Yep.
getters.
Karate didn't send a goal getter. He's too busy hanging out with Timothy Chalamet in New York City.
Oh my God. Also, here's another thing about karate. He was like, he posted something. So he did Boston on Monday. And then it was either Friday or Saturday. He posted that he was on the Peloton. He's like, easing my way back in. And he did like 15 miles on the Peloton. He's like, just easing back in.
I look at his Peloton rides because
They're crazy.
So on a 30-minute ride, I can do depending on the day, 7.6 if I'm having a really easy day to 8.5 to 8.6. I never really go much over that. And he's got 12, 13
Yes.
miles. I'm like, how the hell is he going so far in a half hour? What speed is his legs moving to make that happen in a half hour?
Sometimes I feel like I'm going to flip the bike. If I was going that fast, I'd be like, I'm going to flip the thing completely over. I'm gonna
Or is it he's going 50 resistance with a 90 cadence? What is happening?
Ridiculous.
I need to know, Karate.
He's wicked fast, kid.
He is.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Oh my
forget
God.
about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Are we
Karate.
Are we about to gabagoo again?
Get some matcha.
Remember when I found out Gabagoo was something real and not just a nonsense word?
Yeah, it is something. Oh, you didn't know it was
God.
real.
I thought
Oh
it was
God,
just a
yeah, it's
nonsense
totally
word.
real. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Kev
God.
Cole, yeah.
I'm so dumb.
All
Oh
right.
God.
Hey,
We actually have a lot to talk about today. We should probably
What
get
are
on
we-
task.
Yeah, we
what
should-
are
we
we
should-
running
yeah.
for? I'll
Move
go
on.
first. I'm running for the next 2 weeks to protect my yams.
Good luck with
Michael,
that.
I'm not going blister to blister with you.
His are
Yams
gross right
are
now.
Up top.
But mine are a little gnarly, and I got a blister on the bottom of my foot. That
You guys have matching feet. How
his
cute.
is worse. His is worse. Mine can take some pressure.
Your big toe is disgusting,
fine.
though.
It's fine.
It's black.
Hold on.
The whole thing's gonna fall off.
Guys.
It's disgusting.
Can we compare big toes? I
No,
feel like
it's just
I feel like
I
I'm
have
gonna-
like a brownish black nail. I don't want to look at Michael. Do not put your foot up to the ew.
I'm gonna no,
Michael.
stop for real. You're disgusting. Just stop. I was gonna say, you send your toenail, each of you send your toenail to Greg, because apparently Greg can handle this crap.
No, Michael posted at
he
least
can tell
one
us.
foot picture on Insta. I don't know if it was
Greg's-
on our page
Greg's
or
single-handedly
but that was-
supporting
I was
our Only
taped up.
Yams
I was
account.
taped up. Yeah. I only posted a taped up once. Nobody
Yes.
could see
It's
it.
gross.
However-
Greg's your only Yam
Anyways-
subscribers. That would
Anyways, I have to protect my feet between now and May 6th because that's when my Great Saunter 33.7 mile walk around Manhattan is. So I gotta get these babies in walking shape.
Yes,
Oh
you
my
do.
God.
So that's what I'm running for this week.
unbelievable.
Disgusting.
Well, I am not running this week.
Good.
Or next week, probably. So that's what I'm running for, not running.
Love it.
Period.
Take a break.
Yes.
I am running for beer. So I was not
Ooh.
drinking a ton of beer recently. I was drinking a lot of cocktails and just really not drinking. But now the sun is out and I've awoken into my day drinking state. And we've been drinking all of the beer. So we went to Black Flag twice last week. We went to their Springfest on Saturday. And then yesterday, we laid around and watched the Kardashians for about 7 hours and
Oh my God.
drank just a ton of beer in the house. It was a joy.
I'm not proud of that.
It was awesome. And
Tom wants to clarify that he's not.
Here's
proud.
the thing. I'm not no shade because it's fascinating watching these people.
it's horrific. We yell at the television. It's so great. But RAR, as part of their Out of Order series, which we've talked about on the show before, they're kind of like they're typically like pastry sours. They're really good. They did like a couple years ago, I think we talked about it on the show. They did like a Marvel set of beer. This time they did a Goonies set of beer. So we've got the Goonies 6-pack and we've been drinking that. One of them was bright blue. And
So good.
yeah, they've all been delicious. So if ever you're anywhere and you see RAR's Out of Order series, they're always good.
Yep.
I am running for consistency? Question mark. I keep saying I'm going to be consistent, and then I keep not being consistent. So we'll see how this week goes for me. I'm only going to say I'm going to be consistent this week. So I'm going to run tomorrow. I'm going to run Thursday. I'm going to run Saturday.
That's good.
So I've put it out here. I'm running those 3 days.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Good
consistency
for
is good.
you.
I actually need to get better about waking up and running before work because I was going to run today and I was thinking, oh, I'll just run quickly before we record tonight. And of course, then I don't log off in time and then I get all distracted in the afternoon. Like I have to do it in the morning or I don't do it. It's too hard
Don't
working
get it
from
in.
home. Like when you're in an office, you can say I'm done and I'm leaving. When you're just at home, all of a sudden you look up and it's 6 o'clock.
Is that everyone?
Yeah. So my goal is to be consistent this week.
What do you mean?
Isn't
Is
that
that,
a
is that
great
some sort of
goal?
is that some sort of segue? What are you doing? What's going on?
And now, it's time for our Will Run 4 Goal Getters. Congrats on making your goals, you getters. Oh, who runs this shit?
I'll write our friend Laura Duxon, who's out there killing it. I crushed my sub 2:30 half marathon goal. Woo!
Woo!
My race went so well, and I'm still getting used to the walk, run during the races, and I'm learning more about it each time. My 5K race was such a bad experience with RWR, path too narrow, people making useless comments about my walk breaks. I couldn't go my pace during the first half because it was crowded. What a difference it was. I used 60-30 for my first 10K, then switched to 60-20s. I skipped the walk breaks when there was much crowd support or a downhill, or when I saw my husband who cheered for me at 4 different spots. I wanted to go sub
Aw.
2:30. I never could have dreamed I would hit 2:22:58. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Wow, nice.
Very, very happy. Next goal, Berlin Marathon.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
Also, so I work with a lot of software vendors, and there was a huge bank breach a little while ago, so we have to verify updated banking information. So I had to call a vendor in the Netherlands, and
Oh.
And it was Laura.
I was like, I wonder if they know Laura. Laura, do you know everybody
Yes,
in the
because-
Netherlands?
Because that's how that works, Tom.
The guy's name was Wayne.
Do you know Wayne?
If you
Laura?
know Wayne,
Wayne from the
if
Netherlands.
you know Wayne, he's a very nice guy. Anyways, please continue.
God. Well, congrats, Laura. That's amazing. And I love to see
Yeah.
like the messing with the interval running and how it's helping.
It's working
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
Love that.
Wendy says that her goal for May is to not get injured before a race across the West. I've got a few quote unquote miles to put into, but that's the easy part. Not hurting myself in the process is the hard
Yeah.
part.
That's it.
Love it.
Stay healthy. Stay healthy.
Just riding in the rain. Shoddy, who I saw posting all weekend, I did finish my marathon last week with a PR and made it to the news.
Oh.
Awesome. To change that, we can do races in a wheelchair in my country as well. So goal achieved.
Oh,
A
that's awesome.
second person from the Netherlands. Do you think
This is
Shawnee
true.
knows?
Shawnee, yeah.
I think
Does Shawnee know?
Shawnee,
Knows Wayne?
Laura and Wayne are just hanging out together right now.
God.
Lori Koss. Lori, if I said your last name wrong, yell at me. PR at the R&R Nashville half yesterday.
I
Love it.
saw that. I saw those photos.
Congratulations.
And she looked so cute with her and her friend in their little raw threads outfits
So cute.
and sparkle skirts.
Megan Avis, I got 2 workouts in last week and they both felt good. Yes.
Nice.
Progress.
Marathon training again, I see.
Yep. So it
Yeah.
sounds like to me.
Jennifer Cook. We haven't heard from Jennifer Cook in a little while. Still going after my goal of a 20-pound weight loss. Just about 13,
That's
but feeling strong and in charge of how I'm approaching it this time around. Slow and steady.
Nice.
Love
That's the
it.
way to do it.
Coach Mal, who uses her printer weekly. That's what she said.
Does she use it to copy and paste?
Maybe.
Oh, I think so. There was a comment on a different post, and I went to go find it for goal getters. Maybe that's no, it was EcoFit. I found hers on the
Yep.
post. Never mind.
No, this is her just writing copy and paste
Oh.
because it's the same goal. She keeps
okay.
using the same goal.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
gotcha,
still
gotcha.
counts. Strength and
Counts.
bike is still on the list for goals. I'm doing better, but I need to be more consistent. If anyone wants to buddy up on the Peloton bike, let me know. I have a half marathon this Saturday, April 29th, and I'm using it as a training run and hoping to PR my May half 2 weeks later. Trying to work on speed as I have a full in October that I'd love to do in 4:30 or less.
Yeah.
Nice.
She's been out there consistently, I feel like. I know she's saying
Yeah,
that's her
she's-
goal, but I just feel like I see her like every day out there.
Well,
doing something.
she's consistent at running. I know she struggles like when she's gonna to do the cross training and strength stuff. I think that's
Gotcha.
because she just likes running so much, so she doesn't want to give
Yeah.
up running to do the other stuff.
I understand.
I get it.
So, Stephanie running again says finish April without any more snow. Ugh, gross. Warmer weather would be nice, but I'm not expecting any miracles here. Also, still keeping up with 45 minutes every morning, either walking with my neighbor or running solo during the week. That's awesome, especially if there's snow,
Yeah.
which I saw in the Chicagoland area snow this weekend and was like, why?
Yeah, my boss in
Have fun with
Colorado
that.
got snow over the weekend.
Why?
Oof. Have fun.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
EcoFit. I'm dedicating my runs and workouts this week to bettering myself, in addition to trying to drink more water. One thing I've been working on that has improved my stress and sleep a bit has been reading more with my fur babies and looking at screens less. Love
Oh,
that.
that's good.
She's had
Yeah.
excellent dog content as of late.
Yes. Her dog is adorable. Run Disney. His thing is very simple. Just says, got it.
Yeah.
And then he put the unicorn emoji because he got that unicorn.
Did it.
Congratulations.
Awesome. And he had a great day for it. Weather looked good, like just all of it. All right. Looks like walking. Running my first race, a 5K on 4:30. First since injury last July.
Nice.
See. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Jessica Garand joined my daughter for her second 5K. Girls on the run. So proud. Still nothing planned as far as races go, but working on strength and cross training and rollerblade, or cross training with rollerblades. She also says, I went crowd surfing for the first time at Earth Day birthday rock concert in
That's
Orlando
amazing.
this last weekend.
That takes me back.
That's amazing.
Also, I love the rollerblading, especially with the new Barbie movie coming out. I feel like rollerblades are going to have just a resurgence.
They're going to have a moment
They're
in
gonna have a
time
moment.
again.
And she's ahead of the curve.
We have Brooke, who sent in a goal getter for her and her husband. Hers is to try to get outside for a run, but the tread is so welcoming. And I watched The Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yes.
Yeah, see,
New season comes out soon.
I know, and I really like just sometimes being on the tread. It's so hard sometimes for me. I keep saying that even about the Peloton, right? Like it's right there. I can just hop right on
So
it.
easy.
Meanwhile, her husband Brad is trying to get to 100 miles of running this month.
Whew. All right, Brad, get it. And then Jennifer Hall, who I saw briefly at Springtime. I didn't see her too much. With Broad Street coming up, it'll be my last longer distance before the summer. Hoping to get close to the last year's PR and then spend the summer getting in better shape and stronger.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I guess this is kind of like the last race before things get really hot. Well, we'll see you Saturday, Jen.
Yes, we will.
We will have.
last
We would.
Saturday.
We
we'll
saw
have,
you-
we saw
you
her.
Saturday.
Yeah.
I can't. That's what I was trying
It's
to say.
great to see you.
I was trying to
Great to
say
see
we
ya.
will have seen her.
Good run.
And those words could not come
That
out
was
of my
awesome.
mouth.
You were funny. That was nice. So I know as of when we're recording this, we dropped an episode where you, Erin and Diana, were on the street at Springtime, and I listened this morning.
It was more Erin on the street. Every time she got like the recorder out, I would just walk away. It's like I was no help. I'm like, this is overwhelming.
we had Snarky. We had Snarky on the street.
Yeah, she was awesome.
right? Snark on the
I had
street.
some notes.
You have some notes. Let's hear.
There was a couple well placed trolling comments.
What were they about?
For some reason, even though I wasn't there, I felt like I was there. I know Greg, I think his name is, from Rise and Run, was prevalent on the episode. I heard Bob's angelic voice.
Yes, the voice of an angel, as I called
A
it.
bunch of our friends and listeners, snarky doing snarky things.
Yes, you had the Weckerleys.
The Wex, yep. Weckerly had a hot take. I was trying to remember what it was. Like, he was like,
There was a lot of hot takes.
he was like, hey,
Everyone was drinking.
you should have more of the items that people want to buy. All
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Okay. Weckerly. Do you guys have any other thoughts from Springtime Surprise?
Well, I was just gonna say I didn't listen to how it ended up getting edited, but I know there was a lot of hot takes on the expo and the merch.
Why don't you just go
So,
each thing expo?
well, that's what I was just gonna say. So we should start there.
Yeah.
First, we actually got good queue spots.
Yeah.
Everyone that we knew too really got pretty good virtual queue spots. So I guess that part was good to it, because that was part of what we were a little concerned about, that we were going to get a really crappy spot in the middle of the day and then get stuck at the expo all day. And then somehow we still got stuck at the expo all day, way longer than we planned. Don't know how that happened. Diana, what did you think of the merch?
Yeah, there was something about the merch that felt off, and it's hard to like put your finger on exactly what it was. It was things weren't the right colors, they weren't the right style, they weren't the right cut. Just overall, it was really disappointing. It all felt, I don't know, like, because the theming was so cute. Like, I feel like they just missed a huge opportunity. Everything they had to purchase really looked exactly like the shirts that they were giving you. So even if you saw something you liked, you were thinking, well, why am I spending money on this? Because this looks exactly like the shirt they're giving
also
us.
think the branding has changed.
Yeah.
I don't really understand sizing anymore, because like even that tank top that I did end up buying, like the armpits were weird, and I know a lot of people complained about
Yeah.
that. And then the other shirt, like that was kind of more not the racer back, but more the other cut. Like people were complaining about that one and the way that fit. You tried on a jacket and ended up having to go like down a couple sizes
Yeah.
because like it was
was
huge.
huge.
So they went the opposite way of like Marathon Weekend's problem, which was that everything was way too small on the women. And this time everything was way too big.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Nothing was like a like a must buy. Like no one was racing around saying, I've got to have this. I remember even saying, because you know, they do the little videos where they're previewing information and like, oh, hey, here's a quick look at what things look like. And they had like a little fanny pack, and it was like, oh, maybe I'll get that. And then when we saw it at the expo, it was terrible. It was weird and not the right size and not great looking. And everything, they had 1,000 of the Corksicle cups and 1,000 of like the Corksicle like coffee containers. I was actually saying, I think Erin, I said this to you. I think that they've let the price point get out of control where people already have things, so they're not going to spend an extra like $50 on another Corksicle.
The Corksicles are the exact same Corksicle. Like they're from race to race to race. They're the exact same type of Corksicle with that straw and and all they have is a different wrap.
Yeah.
So like at some point, like you don't need 5 of the exact same bottle.
Yeah.
Like they need some variety.
And, I mean, honestly, like I used to buy every single Tervis at every single race weekend. I would have bought, if the Corksicle was $15, maybe even $10 cheaper, I probably would have bought one for this race weekend. But it just seems so silly to be spending this price point. And we were even looking like all over the parks. They had like dozens and dozens of like the Starbucks cups and all of that. And it could be, hey, they finally got the merch down where they're ordering enough. But I think part of it is like they've started to price people out.
I don't think so, because I feel like most people talked about how the merch wasn't great this time around. So, I mean, obviously we don't want to get too deep into this because we kind of talked about it on the ground thing and had some feedback from people. Yeah. But I mean, generally it seems like it just wasn't exactly what people were looking for.
Yeah.
After we got through the expo, we hung out for a while. We went and got our bibs. I miraculously convinced someone to allow me to change or submit my proof of time at the booth, because I had issues with submitting my proof of time because my last name was wrong and it got transferred wrong from like when somebody else helped me register. Because, you know, Disney IT is so wonderful. And so I went up, and again, this is one of those things that we talk about. Like, it depends on what cast member you get in front of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get someone who let you like submit your proof of time in front of them. And sometimes they're like, sorry, too bad. Like you should have submitted it at the time that you registered. So I got super lucky, and I was able to submit my proof of time to get a better corral. So that meant that I got to be in the corrals with, you know, Diana and friends, so that we could have a little bit more fun on course and take a little bit more time to do our own thing.
Yeah,
and then we hung out with Bob and Greg, as Tom pointed out, Marsha, Dana. We just drank a bit. Other people came by. Who else did we see there? We saw a bunch of people while we were sitting there.
Angie. We saw.
Oh, Kate. Happily Skinner After came by. I'm sorry if we're missing you. We were standing in the center and we had people come by, it was a lot of fun just hanging out and talking to people. And then we went drinking in Disney Springs a bit, which is where a lot of the merch hot takes took place because we were all together drinking.
Yep. We did Jock Lindsay's. It was pretty good. But yeah, I thought the expo was just kind of a standard expo. We were noting that there were no lines. Like no one was really around. No one was like fighting to get in.
Yeah.
People were hanging out.
That was the weird part too. Like we walked right into the merch. There was no like queue line at all. Like that room that they put people in. And I don't know whether it's again because people had like looked at the merch already and been like, there's not really much like that I'm interested in. So I don't really care about the virtual queue. Because I was also wondering whether or not people didn't even try and get into the virtual queue because they didn't care about the merch this time.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about the expo. Anything else, Diana?
No, not for me.
Then began the challenge. We did the 5K. Our kind of group of friends was doing the Nemo theme. So Diana and I spent far too long in Disney Springs and still had to put together our umbrellas because I was afraid to try and take the umbrellas on the airplane by myself since I had 2 giant umbrellas. So I had my friend Steph bring them with her since she was driving, which meant that Diana and I had to craft together the night before.
And I had very strong feelings about crafting.
That's true.
And how
and the funny part about this costume was that I told her that I would craft them. And then she ended up having to craft because I couldn't make it happen before we got down there.
I was like, what's the option that involves me doing the least amount of things? Like, what can I buy so we don't have to do any of this? But yeah, we stayed out a little too late, and then we're putting together jellyfish umbrellas.
Yeah, so we strung lights on big, clear, giant umbrellas. They had a little bit of a pink tinge to them since the Nemo jellyfish are pink. And we put I bought the party streamer type things, like ones that swirl, and then ones that they were iridescent.
Yeah, they were
and then
cute.
we hung them off the umbrella so that we could look like little jellyfish. And I thought we looked adorable.
Yeah, they looked really cute. And when I looked at those things, I was like, that would take 5 minutes to put together. It took us, I don't know, close to an hour. Like, it was not as easy as it was.
It was a full hour. It was a full hour of us trying to string those lights inside.
And I was trying to finish the last bit in the morning in the back of Snarky's car, and I was getting all tangled, and then I broke a bunch, and I was screaming at the umbrella at 2:30 in the morning.
That's like a good time.
But we looked cute, and we got so many comments and compliments on our costume, and that's all that matters because we looked cute.
Yeah.
And got some really good pictures. I will say that running, quote unquote, with an umbrella, a giant ass umbrella, not just like a little umbrella, a giant bubble umbrella is not as easy as you might think.
Yeah. And I have run with an umbrella before because I was the umbrella girl from Haunted Mansion I actually wore that costume twice, I think. But you could put the umbrella down. So I put it up for photos or a couple spot where I knew photo pass photographers would be. But other than that, I kept it down. So it was much easier.
Yeah. There was no keeping this umbrella down.
Yeah. But everyone had cute costumes. Like Erin said, our big group was Nemo. I think Marcia had my favorite costume because she was Mr. Ray and had a giant inflatable stingray around her waist.
Huge, giant.
With all the little characters on it. I don't know. Everyone looked so great.
Yeah. That's the one thing I said that I missed the mark on was buying a plushie Nemo and Dory because each of us should have had, I should have had a Nemo on the top of my umbrella and she should have had a Dory on top of her umbrella like they were bouncing on them. So that was the one thing that if I ever do this again, or if anyone else wants to ever do it again, I suggest you buy little plushies to put on.
We needed Marlin and
fully
Dory.
Understand it. Yeah.
But it was good. It was a great, I don't know. I love the Disney 5Ks so much. I just think they're super fun. I will say, and we noticed this, and I don't know about Princess because I didn't run it this year, but we noticed it at Marathon that for the 5K, there's just not enough characters out for the race where everyone wants to stop and get characters. Like, this is the event where people really want to do that and want to spend the time to do that. And there's, I mean, it is the shortest distance, but they could throw 2 or 3 more characters in there, and I think it would space people out a lot more.
Yeah. And I think that we talked about this, and as the race went on and weekend went on and the races got longer, the lines did take less time, but there's something about the 5K, and I don't know whether it's that there's a lot of kids or like people who are only doing the 5K or what it is, but lines move so much slower. People are using them as full character interactions. I know Diana kind of talked about this at marathon weekend and runner etiquette when it comes to runDisney. These aren't like lines that are supposed to take a long time. You get in, you get out, you take your picture, you move on, so that everyone else behind you can get these pictures. We waited for
Edna mode.
Edna. I mean, the line wrapped around an entire fountain, came back all the way around another pavilion. I mean, like, we were inside of the pavilion all the way around to the other side of a different pavilion before, like, I mean, it was so long. And we waited. We waited for 2 characters there. We waited for that. And then who's the big stick?
Oh, yeah, they had Slim from Bug's
Slim.
Life. And it was really great because
he's huge.
Yeah, I've never seen him out anywhere.
So adorable.
Like, ever.
Yeah, and we didn't know that he would be out at the 10K, at the 10 miler again. So we wanted to make sure we got the opportunity to get a picture with him. So we did wait in that line as well.
Yeah, so... but it was interesting because we were in that line, and I don't know how much of this made it into the because I don't listen to the other episode where we talk about this, but the Edna line was moving so slow, and we were watching Edna and how she was interacting with people, and then they did a switch out, and the line just sped up completely. Like, I don't know if they pulled someone and then got someone in there that was like moving people. Or what happened, but the line, as soon as they did a swap out, it started moving quicker. So
So that was our 5K day. What did we both got a parking lot beer that day, hung out for a little while.
I think we hung out maybe the longest that day.
Yeah, because it ends so early that we had like more time that we didn't have to like, rush back to like go to breakfast or like, so I think we had a little bit more time that day. I think I did some interviews. I don't know.
Yeah. That we forgot the phone that we were frantic.
I forgot the recorder. Yeah.
So
that was a frantic morning. So that was the 5K. 10K day, we did the Monsters Inc. theme and with the group that we were with, and Diana and Marcia did a couple's costume.
Yes.
Diana had a stash of all stashes. Oh my God.
I can't believe it lasted 6 miles.
I can't believe you managed to keep that thing on the entire time.
Yeah. I think I said to someone, if it was 1 more mile, it would have came off. Like, it was starting to get real sweaty, but I bought I packed extra tape, but I put basically boob tape, like tape that's supposed to hold your boobies in place for a nice dress. That's what I put on my upper lip. So I bought heavy duty tape.
Smart.
Yeah, and I made sure I don't.
So who are you though?
I was Don Carlson, scare student. So I had business cards, and I was passing those out.
People loved it, and she carried a mug with the cards inside of it the whole time, and it was fantastic.
And then after the race, I was drinking the beer out of the mug.
Yes, Marcia was. Who is his girlfriend? The mom.
I don't know what her name is. The mom from Monsters University that listens to the metal in the car.
And then they fall in love.
Yes,
and they have cute little love photos. Marcia and Diana got a picture in front of the Eiffel Tower together. It's very cute.
It was very cute.
And I was a CDA, the Child Detection Agency.
Yep.
Dressed in all yellow with Michael has no idea what is happening here at all. But I had a full backpack which I did buy on Amazon for like $8. And I said, if it's not comfortable, it's going. And I didn't think it was going to last, but I guess at the last minute, I like strapped it real tight and it held it real close to my body, and it didn't actually move as much as I thought it would. So it ended up working out pretty well. And I ended up being able to keep it the whole time. Turns out there was a whole group of other people who were doing the CDA, the dead last people, the dead last start people.
Oh, yeah.
We're also doing that, and their plan was to collect socks as their pew-pews. And so people kept asking me, are you collecting socks? And I was like, I have no idea.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? So it was very strange because people just started handing me socks throughout the whole race, and it was very strange. By the end, I had 10 pairs of socks.
Yeah.
Sherry Squibbles is her name.
Oh,
Thank you.
there it is.
Thank you. That's who Marsha was.
And I know I know they got a little slap on the hand from Disney for that.
Yeah.
So
just because it causes some chaos, I guess.
Yeah.
So they were asked to not do that again. So they ended up collecting all the socks for donation, though. So that was still something that was positive about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
and I ran with Angie and Andrew, and we ran up to character stops. And Diana ran with Marsha and Snarky, and we got in line and waited for characters so that they, as we do.
yeah, we got a ton of characters.
We did get a ton of characters.
Yeah,
I
it
heard
was
y'all
really
saw a boy band.
Oh my God. This
Oh,
is the
yeah.
greatest thing that's ever happened.
Was that the 10 miler or the 10?
It was in the 10K.
That was 10K.
So they were right in Canada. So you come in and you're coming around the corner, and you're like, you hear like the music, and I was like, oh my God, that's so fun. They're playing Four Town. And then all of a sudden you see them, and I screamed. Like, I think I screamed in Snarky's ear. Oh my God, it's Four Town. And I like lost my mind. I wore my Four Town shirt on the plane. Like so I was ready. They were so great. I don't think they were an official character stop. I think they were supposed to be like,
but they were taking
they were
taking
on-course
pictures
entertainment,
with everyone.
so they didn't have a photo
and they were
pass.
singing. They were singing with everyone, allowing everyone to take pictures. So everyone was doing the thing where like the person behind you took your picture for you, and it was just like a chain of people. But they were in character the whole time
so
that
great.
Everyone was taking pictures with them. It was great.
It was one of the best character interactions I've had in years. They were so fun. They were so into it. They were singing other boy band songs. So they were singing like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and they were so into it and so great. And it's just, I don't know, and it reminded me of like, that's why I love like runDisney events. I was like, I fell in love all over again.
Yeah, we heard from many people in the on the ground that it was like literally their favorite part of the whole weekend.
Yeah. It was awesome, but there were a ton of rare characters. But yeah, the 10K was a really great race, and I ran like you said with Marsha and Snarky, and yeah, I have never run. Like, I feel like I met so many people this weekend that I either didn't know existed at all, or like only knew by their Instagram handle, and I just feel so lucky that I got to spend some meaningful time with people and get to know people a little bit better and feel, a little more connected. So yeah, thanks everyone who ran with me and I got to spend time with, either after the race drinking beer or running with me, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad that all worked out. And that day for me, I was somewhat worried about doing like short intervals and then still needing to run on the next day, because intervals, when I'm not used to them, can like really make my legs a little sore and feel different. So for me, it ended up working out really well that we ended up with Andrew and Angie, because I was able to talk to them and say, hey, are you guys cool with running with me so that we can mostly run up in between characters? So we didn't really keep like long intervals or short intervals. We mostly ran in between characters.
That's awesome.
So it worked out for me that, I I could run up, and then we could all get as many character stops as we did because we were able to run up and wait in line for you guys.
No, it was
So.
awesome. It was super fun. It was a great day.
And then we parking lot partied again that day. We hung out with Violet and Chris and Melissa a bunch that day.
Yeah, Violet and Chris, they were people I did not know existed and was delighted. And they live close to me. And I came home and I told Tom that I want to couple stalk them and like become best friends because they live locally. And he was like, "Who are these people?"
I knew a Violet because she's been around for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like not hip with what's going on. I don't know, but I was just delighted by them.
I don't know. We ran into Ryan Runs Disney almost every single day.
You had great costumes as usual. Every single day.
Always. So I don't know. We saw a lot of people. I don't want to miss people. I feel bad. Like I feel like there's so many other people. We had at the expo. We actually had several people who came up to us and were like, "Oh, we listened to your podcast," and we were like, "Oh, cool, thanks."
If you like that, like that sort of thing, which I'm not really.
We had a lot of.
I'm not really a fan of
a lot of
that.
Tom Price of Fame moments.
Look.
Oh God!
I asked for Instagram handles a couple times, and they're like, "We don't have one," or like, "You wouldn't know me," and I was like, "Oh, but you can tell me anyway." So I love that. That was really sweet. We saw Shailene a bunch of times. Yep. I didn't get to say goodbye to her because I was interviewing someone. I really wanted to get her on the recording, and she ran away from me.
Yes, was she? I think she was the one that was actively avoiding you. There were a couple people that were like, "I'm hiding from Erin because I don't want her to get the microphone out," and they knew they were safe with me because I'm not working.
Yeah, I know Nikki's not into the microphone being in her face, so she was probably running away from me anytime she saw me with a mic. Yeah. 10 miler day was so hot.
It was so hot. It was so hot.
So hot. Our goal for that day was to get to the beginning of the corral, not really care too much about other people. We're sorry, other people.
Yeah.
So that we could be at the very beginning of the corral and be one of the first people out.
Yeah.
Because we were in B. So we got as far up in B as we possibly could.
I think we were the first group out of B.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We were.
And we had
we were
heard
like the third group of people to go.
From the rumor mill that B was an obnoxiously big corral, that it was going to be,
the largest corral
of every
and
all the groups.
It looked like it really was based off of like just looking at how it functioned.
Yeah, we were also worried because it was so hot. We in our brains were like, it's going to be hot. They're going to red flag the course, or what they're going to start doing is they're going to start releasing the corrals super fast. And we actually thought that they had done that because, of course, A is so small. We were like, we're going really fast. They're going to release them really fast. And then that was not the case.
It turned out that the balloon ladies didn't even start until 6:15. I have them on my tracker always, and I thought there was something wrong with my tracker.
Yeah.
And at like 6:14, I was looking at my thing and I'm like, they still haven't started. So I deleted them and then re-added them thinking there was something wrong with my tracker. And it was like literally like as I was re-adding it, I saw 6:14:59 that
so it's like a full
Molly
hour
had started. So I was like,
started.
God, wow. So we actually ended up having a comfortable cushion.
Yeah.
And being able to stop for a decent amount of characters. So we also got a decent amount of characters.
Almost everyone.
For that race.
There were only like 2 or 3 we did not stop for.
Yeah.
And we were keeping a really good pace, I thought, for the heat and, waiting in line.
Yeah. And Mickey and Minnie were absolutely the most adorable
cutest thing I've ever
couple in the entire universe.
You guys got a lot of good
adorable
characters.
outfits.
Yeah. Wally was out. Right?
Mm-hmm. He was at the start-finish line. Mickey and Minnie at Hollywood Studios, was, like Erin said, was one of the cutest things I've ever seen. And they were right in front of the Runaway Railway sign. So, like, those photos are really... I think that was the longest line was for making a mini. And it was moving really fast for us, but then Andrew and Angie said that they waited in that line. It was moving really slow. So I don't know if we were just lucky.
We thought that they were going to catch up to us a lot faster than they did. We didn't end up. They didn't end up catching us until almost mile 8.5. So we were almost done with the race by the time they had actually caught up with us.
Yeah, we saw a few people on course. Again, stop. They had pretty rare characters out. Like they had Ian and Barley from Onward, or as Michael
that was
called
another
it,
one that everyone
Resignation Dad.
loved.
Yeah. Resurrection Dad movie.
A zombie dad. Half a zombie dad, whatever.
A zombie dad. But yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird movie.
So that was like the one character I said I wanted to do. And I said, like, as long as I get them, I'll be happy. And the lines were moving so much faster. So they were shorter and faster. So we were able to jump in a ton. And even some we were like kind of lukewarm about, like, oh, do we really want to do this? The line was so short, we just jumped in.
We got Bo Peep because that line ended up being short at the very end.
Yeah, Princess Ada. She was super short.
We have Sully. Chip and Dale were adorable in their little outfits. All the Bugs Life characters were all separate too. They weren't together.
Yeah, which
I thought was interesting. It was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, that was a really fun race. And then we didn't hang out in the parking lot for too long because we had a nice big breakfast plan. But and I didn't see this happening in real time, but this completely made our day. Is later in the day we were on Run Disney Run, and I hadn't seen it, but Erin had seen it. That this wife, she made a post in Run Disney Run on Facebook, which if you guys know me, I just love to stalk the Run Disney Facebook pages. And I don't know how I missed this, but Erin so kindly pointed it out to me that this wife posted, "I apologize for my husband. He had a meltdown at some point during the course. I don't actually run with him, and flung his costume, and lots of swearing was happening, and I apologize." And the comments were the greatest thing that might have happened to me in my entire life. We were laughing so hard. We were up for like way longer than we should have been because we were in the comments. So this couple, he was dressed as an anemone from Finding Nemo, and he had like a little Nemo character popping out of it, and it was like it was all like the clown, when long
they
balloons.
make the balloon. The balloons, the long balloons to like make I don't know, dogs and stuff out of.
He had something that wrapped around his waist, and then all of these balloons just sticking out.
And the reason why this came up was because I saw that he got posted on the Run Disney Facebook and Instagram page, and she was like, "This is an adorable costume." And I'm like, "Wait 1 second," because I remember seeing something in one of the Run Disney groups about this, and I had to think about it. And I was like, "Yes, this is it." He's the one who had the temper tantrum.
I laughed so hard.
He threw it off of him, and people were like, "Oh, I was there when it happened, and it was the most amazing thing." As he
one of the comments was like, "I was literally right behind him. All of a sudden you heard balloons popping, and then I'm never wearing an effing costume again." And then it rips off. And apparently he ripped it off so violently it ripped his shirt. It was
And then the cast members came and found it, and there's pictures of a cast member wearing this balloon.
It was people were posting photos of it on the side of the road next to a trash can. People were
God.
"This made my race.
Amazing.
I loved watching his meltdown." So I don't know who you are, but I love you guys, because that just I had tears coming out of my eyes.
This couple, you need to connect them with Diana and I. If you are aware of what we're talking about,
so hard.
Someone please connect us. And this guy, because then we stalked what her posts from the Run Disney Run page, and the costumes this guy wears are
they're
amazing.
Really good.
He wears costumes all the time, and he's so good.
And I'm just picturing it because it was 90 degrees, and he's got this anemone costume, and I'm sure the balloons are literally smacking him in the face as he's running. I can envision it, just between the whole thing and just this sad costume on the side of the road, and then the cast member wearing it. It was, that's why we do Run Disney. So for people who are like, why do you do that? It's because of that.
We're like, for all the crap that there is on these Facebook groups, this is why we're there.
I was like,
It's for this content.
like, this is what the Run Disney community should be. It should be this all the time because I laughed so hard. But so great. So great.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun. It was fun. We hung out. We saw lots of people. I mean, we mentioned some names. We missed a ton of names, I'm sure. So forgive me if we saw you and I didn't mention you. We really loved seeing everyone. We had so much fun.
Oh my gosh. It was so funny. Like I kept saying, Erin knows everyone. I kind of know people, but I'm always just kind of like, I'm more of like a waiver. How you doing? And like Erin, I was like, she's like the prom queen of Run Disney because she's like running around. She like knows everyone. I'm like, where is she going now?
I know, like, if I know like even if I know 100 people, that's still like a 0.05% of the Run Disney community.
I was like, where is she going now? Like, who are these people? But it was awesome. And I'm so glad I got to meet some people. And this is definitely, I feel like it was definitely a different Run Disney experience for me. Because, I mean, I've been doing it. I think my first Run Disney race was like 2015 or something like that. And kind of I don't want to say like the old school crew, but like a lot of the people that I used to see every single race like aren't really doing Run Disney anymore. So I was like, well, where are like the people I know? So it was great to like see kind of like this new community has bounced up and they've probably been there the whole time and decided, I wasn't part of that group. So I was so excited. They were so nice and they all invited me in and yeah, it was great. Great.
Yeah. I was jealous of one thing though, because Thumbs Up Ken came over and said hello to you.
Yes, he did.
And I've been fanboying him for a couple years now.
Well, I've met him because he used to live in DC, so I used to see him at races a lot here. But we did kind of like he was walking by and we kind of made eye contact, and he was like, "Diane," I was like, "Oh yeah," and then I said that you'd be really mad.
That's funny. I know that we said we had a couple of hot takes. I just want to talk about them very briefly because we did say on the street that we would talk about it. One hot take is PhotoPass.
Ooh.
This is the big one. I don't know what has changed in like the Run Disney community since I began, but there's something about like the PhotoPass thing that like when you're in line for a character and it's not a character interaction, like you only take one photo. And if you like Angie and I ran ahead, Diana, Marcia, and Melissa got in the line. Snarky got in the line with us. It's one picture.
Yeah.
We had multiple occasions where people were in front of us. Their friends ran up, and then each one of them took a picture.
Yeah.
And then two of them took a picture, and then all three of them took a picture. And it was like, what is happening?
Yeah, and I don't mind if people do that if they all get there at the same time, but you can't like cut in line and then do that. That's, I think, where we have the issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like if you run up and someone is holding your spot, then it is all one picture. You can't just each individually start taking your own pictures.
Yeah. Then
the second thing is when you see the big green tents, keep moving forward. Like the amount of people that now just come to like either slow down so significantly that it just starts clogging everyone. Yeah. There's no holes anymore because you can't make a hole because everyone just kind of like slows down to the point that they're barely even walking, let alone running.
Yeah.
Like if everyone just kept moving forward, PhotoPass is going to get your picture. Like some of the best pictures come from the action shot of you moving.
Yeah. Yeah. There were more, I've never noticed and I didn't even notice this marathon weekend, the way people were stopping. And this wasn't like just like a 5K thing. It was like 5, 10, 10 miler.
The 10 miler on the boardwalk, we all had trouble there. Andrew and I, during the 10K, I think we were in Connections, like that hall where Connections is. And we had someone like neither of us got a picture in that spot because we had someone who ran straight across in front of us. So when was said and done, when I looked for pictures of us in that spot, we didn't get any, even though we had moved over to that side to try and get through. We didn't get anything.
Yeah. And once people get so far up on the photographer, your photo's not going to come out anyway. Like there were a couple funny photos where we were like, oh, I remember that person like jumped in front of us and it was like just like half their body. Like it's not even.
Yeah. And their face like blurred out because they're way too close to the camera.
Yeah. So it was a lot of that.
I had a finish line moment where literally in the pictures you can see like she's in the center and then suddenly, and we are like far behind her. And all of a sudden she decides that she's going to come straight across to where the photographers are. And she just like dead stops and ended up hitting me in the face with her hand because she just stopped moving. And I like literally screamed at her.
Yeah, Erin was.
And I almost threw down.
She threw hands.
Snarky thought that I was going to like rant on her, snark on the street. And I said, no, I'm going to save it for the podcast.
Yeah, it was bad.
Literally just stops. Marsha for sure saw it because I was just like, you can't do that. I like literally screamed at her. You can't do that.
Yeah,
she just
stopped.
turned around to me and was like, what? I'm like, you can't stop. You have to keep moving forward.
It's a safety issue.
Yeah, and she crossed completely over. And I'm kind of like far back because we even slowed down to try and back away from the group like that was in front of us. Because, you know, if you're like right up against the group in front of you, your photos aren't going to come back. So we tried to slow down and I can't even imagine the pace that they were walking for us to catch them. And then like it's kind of like you three and I'm like far behind you guys because like those people,
it's that guy.
That whole group of people just started like stopping. So I'm like not near you guys at all. And it's just like, keep moving. I don't understand why people are stopping. And I can understand like if you have like a big group and you want to hold hands going across the finish line, if you just be aware of your surroundings. Like, I don't care that people do that, honestly. Just look around you. And if you're noticing you're like blocking people, like.
Obviously, we wanted to do that. The whole purpose was for us to try and get a row of us sort of like next to each other.
Yeah.
But then because everyone else slowed down so significantly, when we started running towards the finish line, there was no way for us to end up being all next to each other anymore because everyone else in front of us had sort of just stopped and clogged the finish line.
Yeah.
Because they stopped moving.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what happened even at the green tents. Like everyone was just stopping and like barely walking so that they could do their like put their hands out and like keep moving.
Yeah. And I felt like kind of like a jerk because like a lot of times when we were running past like the photo pass, like I think I was okay for the 5K and like half of the 10K, but kind of by the end of the 10K, I was like kind of yelling at people like, don't slow down. They're going to get you. Like, you don't have to stop. Don't slow down at like when things are getting clogged up. Because I was even looking because I needed to grab some race photos for something else. So my photos from like a couple of years ago at the races are much better than they have been at the races recently, just because it wasn't as congested. And I started
because everyone's still moving.
Yeah, and I had been starting in corrals like further back. Like this was when I was in like D&E corrals, you know, like far back, super congested. And my photos are kind of way better. And I'm way, you know, I look way more alone, and that I'm
I do think
running.
that this is a much newer thing because that's what I said. It's just become in recent years where it's gotten really bad.
Yeah, there's a lot more influencers than there once were, I think, as well, which I think is kind of impacting the photos and, you know, all that, because people see stuff, right? And they want to have that photo, and they think the way they can get that photo that looks like
is to stop.
Yeah.
But I think some of my best photos are in action.
Yeah, 100%. I'm happiest with all of mine that I'm actually running in. So
yeah.
But yeah, I thought Erin was going to throw hands. So
yeah, I mean, I was pretty close. It was pretty close. I came across and I was I was angry.
Yeah, you were hot.
I was hot.
Yeah.
Speaking of hot, Michael,
Sort
you ran a race this past weekend.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
of? No, there was
I
no
did.
sort
No, I'm
of.
just kidding. Yeah. So New Jersey or the Jersey Devil 100 miler was this weekend. Sorry, Jack was climbing up my back. So that was this weekend. So that was Saturday. Greg from Orlando came up, decided he was going to help crew and pace if I needed it. So he flew up on Friday. So Saturday morning, headed down to the start. I don't know.
Well, Friday night, you stayed at Megan and Kurt.
Yeah, stay with Megan
So
and
we
Kurt.
had a
Because
lot
they
of
were
friends.
running too. So
Oh, nice.
I stayed.
Yeah, it
with
looked like
Yeah,
you
we
guys
had a lot
crew.
of people.
Yeah. So I went with them to the start.
That way, I didn't have to get up at like 2
yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it would have been
to
stupid.
take him there.
Yeah.
And my whole plan going in was obviously to not go fast since it was a 100-mile race. It was going to be warm. And I didn't. I went nice and steady.
Nice.
I think my pace goals early were like stay at like a 12-minute pace, plus or minus a minute, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And aid stations, obviously a couple minutes. But I'm pretty efficient generally in the aid stations if I have what I need. So I carry a lot with me, and I grabbed a bag of chips, things like that, and
Yeah.
walked and ate after each one. But so yeah, no, I paced really well. The problem was I smashed my toe
Oh my God.
somewhere between the start and mile 10 on a root or a stump, actually. So the trails have these little stumps that stick up like 3 feet or 3 inches on them. These little hardwood trees that people cut down. And I caught dead. Like, it wasn't like I even stumbled. I caught it and it just slammed
Oh
my
my
toe into it so
God.
hard, and it just came to a dead stop, which my
Ugh.
toenail is currently leaking, by the
Oh
way.
God.
Nice. Too bad this is an audio medium.
Listen, I have been looking at his toes for the last 2 days, and it is disturbing.
If you'd like to
Haunting
support
me
our-
in my
If
dreams.
you'd like to support our Patreon, we can show you some photos.
Yes. But I honestly, I jammed it, whatever, and I just kept going. I was fine. It was fueling well, hydrating well. I knew there was going to be a long stretch coming up, so I made sure I had water there. In the heat of the day, I made sure I slowed down more. I dropped back to like 13-minute pace, 14-minute pace, something like that. All the way up through like mile 40. What were you guys at? 45?
No, we were at 37.
37. So I saw them they were doing the aid station at mile 37.
So
And I was still
question.
running good
is
there.
this wasn't one of the ones where was it a loop where you would come back around
was
or
Mm-mm.
essentially a lollipop. So you go out around the loop and then back down.
Gotcha.
But the loop was only 10 miles. So the rest of it was like 45 miles to get to the loop,
A loop.
do a loop, and then
45
45
miles
miles
back.
back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
So when we
like
say
you were
lollipop,
you
it
were
had a very
running
long
back
stick.
to Erin multiple times.
No.
It was,
No,
gotcha.
no.
Okay.
No.
Well, technically, no, because she was finishing up at the aid station. But if she had stayed at the aid station, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And
But-
I was
yeah.
crewing, so the idea was
Yeah.
for me to also be in other places after I was done volunteering. The idea was going to be for me to be at the other aid stations
Mm.
through the night.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, if they had just worked that aid station, I would have seen them twice at the aid station. But yeah,
Gotcha.
I knew I wouldn't need crew that early,
Mm.
so with the aid stations and all, so I was like, okay. So they were at 37. I saw them. I was fine there. Between their aid station and the next one, it's a kind of a janky area. There's a lot of bridges. Like by bridges, I mean they're like a foot wide, made of wood. Like there's some planks on the ground through a swamp. There's a lot of roots.
Look at Diana's face. I love Diana's face when it comes to this.
So by that point, my toe did start to bother me, and like the uneven ground. Most of the trail is pretty clean and smooth and soft, but it was starting to bother me there because of the unevenness of the ground, and it was like hitting things, and
Yeah, it was hitting the top of your foot regularly.
It was hitting
All right,
top of
I
my
know
foot
I have
regularly
received a
and-
photo of the foot, but I have not looked really at the foot. Did it
Oh.
gash, or was it like you stubbed it and then it's like?
No, I essentially slammed my entire big toe into the little stump, and the entire toenail dislocated
I
from the
can't.
toe, but
Nope.
is still on top of it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay, so I get this. I get a text that,
Nope.
or a call that says, "I think I may have broken my toe." And
This
I'm
is
like,
harder
sounds
than I
like-
hit it at
It
Patapsco.
sounds like you broke your toe.
and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get a picture. Like we talk about it. He's like, I'm gonna try and get to the next aid station, see what happens. I'll give you a call there. I get a picture of which I open, was not expecting it, see a toe, and I immediately was like, nope. And I give it to Greg to look at. I'm like, Greg, look at this toe. And then I'm trying to get rid
Yeah.
of the
Everybody's
picture.
like, "Oh yeah, this is
So
bad."
Greg is trying to text it to himself. Everyone else is looking at this picture. They're like, oh, that is not good. And everyone's reaction to it is visceral.
Ugh.
Like,
Yeah.
cool.
So I did it like at mile 30. There's a bench. So I stopped there and actually cleaned off my feet. That was way back. Cleaned my feet, relubed them, and kept going. So I got past Erin and Greg's aid station at 37. The next one was at like 42 or whatever. 45, whatever it was. I got there and it was hurting. But I was kind of like yo-yoing with Megan and Kurt and them. So I'd catch up to them at like every aid station. So I caught up to them in the end there, and then they took off again. And after that aid station, I was just like, the foot was feeling worse and worse. Like the toe was feeling worse and worse.
Did you try and
I
take
was
like Advil or anything like that, or no?
I had actually Tylenol sinus, so it had Tylenol in it, and I was
Gotcha.
taking that because I was in the woods, so I needed to be able to breathe.
Yes.
But like out of that aid station was like 3/4 of a mile of road, like paved road, and that didn't feel great on it.
Why?
Oh
What?
God!
Tom just sent it in the group.
Look, guys.
my-
That was
my
unnecessary.
picture. Yeah, there you go.
That's the one I have been hiding from sight.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Ugh.
it's good. It basically I slit, and the worst part, like it was the toe that I smashed at Patapsco, so the toenail's only like 3/4 grown in as it is. So I hit it so hard that a toenail that wasn't even above the top of the toe dislocated from the toe.
God.
Guys,
So that's how hard I hit it. But anyway, so I got to like mile, I don't know, the next aid station was what, mile 50?
Yes.
So I got to like mile 47. Like the pain became pretty unbearable around like 46.
My God.
And I got pretty far along because also that trail kind of goes up and down and stuff like that. So I stopped again, cleaned off my feet again, lubed them up. I wanted to check my toe because it felt pretty bad. So I was like, "Oh," and that's when I sent the picture to Erin. So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna walk into the aid station at 50 as best I can, and then regroup." And I had to get to 55 to see them. They were gonna crew me at 55, which is the same aid station again. So the mistake I made is I was going to have a drop bag at 50. But because I was going to meet them at 55, I did not put the drop bag at 50.
You also didn't know you were going to smash your toe.
To be fair, I know, but that's still I should have had the bag there because I could have fully changed my socks and redone my feet and all that.
Yeah.
Because what happened was, because I could only walk, I couldn't really run anymore on the toe. I started to get a hot spot on the bottom of each foot, on the ball of each foot. So I got about a mile out from 50. I was like mile 51 or so. I sat down on the side of the trail and redid the left foot, which was the one that I smashed the toe. I redid that. I changed my sock. I had a sock in my pack, so I cleaned my foot, put a new sock on, lubed it up, all that. But the hot spot was just not going away. And I still had to walk 4 more miles, and there were severe storms rolling in.
Oh my God.
So
Those odds were not in your favor, sir.
So I'm like, crap. I'm like, I just got to get to 55 so we can figure this out and I can see what I can do. So meanwhile, like I'm watching the radar because I had pretty good service where I was at, and I'm just hiking along, just doing what I can, and I'm not going fast. Basically, what happened was I got to 45, and my pace dropped from like 13-ish minute mile to 18 immediately, then to 24 minute miles coming out of 50. And so the first 2 miles out of 50, the one I stopped to clean my foot, so it was a 24-minute mile, but that didn't really count. The one after that was still 24 minutes.
And he thought he was going faster.
And I thought I was going faster. But then I'm in the wide open. Like in some of these areas, you're in the wide open.
Which, if your foot wasn't jacked, you could take off on.
Yeah. Well, the big problem was I could see lightning and thunderstorms in the distance, and I was in the wide open.
At that point, like we were getting messages from people. So like we're kind of in the middle of the state at this point, but like Philadelphia and like our friend Emily, who was also volunteered with us earlier in the morning, is messaging and saying, "Hey, it's hailing here, like dime-size hail," and we're like watching this giant thing of red coming at us, and we're like, "Cool."
Yeah, it was bad. Like it got in the way of our day drinking because we were at Springfest at Black Flag and the doors were open and then the rain started to come inside. So totally the same thing.
Same.
Yeah. Well, the problem, so only for about like, not for a long stretch out of 50, you're on a single track, so there's trees around, so like you're at least somewhat covered. But then you get onto a lot of fire roads and it was wide open. And I'm like, God, I got to get there. And I'm just watching the radar and I see this massive line of storms coming. And I'm like, oh my God. So eventually I get to like mile, I don't know, 53. And I'm like, I got to move faster. I don't want to get stuck out here.
Yeah, because your last 2 miles were like a 20 and an 18.
Yeah. So I try running. So basically I was trying to run and I still went 20 and 18. So I'm like, I'm giving it the 18-minute mile. I gave it everything I had for like a quarter mile.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this foot is like done. Both feet had blisters on the balls of my feet that I could feel squishing as I was running.
Huge.
So they were squishing as I was running. And I'm like, I just got to get there. So I'm just hiking it out. I'm like, I'm probably going to have to pull it because it's going to start raining. I'm not going to be like, my feet are going to get wet. Like I had time to at least think about it. I had plenty of calories and stuff. So I was like, fine. So I got there and like, the problem is when you get to these aid stations, a lot of times you get people who want to make sure you keep going. But like, I have a job. Like I need to go to it. Like I need to be on my feet. Like,
he is not an office
worker.
worker.
In an office.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait. I can't heal up for a week and then do something. Like I got to go back tomorrow and walk on my feet.
Oh God, I have already said I don't know how he's going to do that.
So like I get what, there's this mentality a lot of times in ultra running of like the DNF is the worst thing in the world. Well, like I have a real life.
I
that
disagree
I also
with that. I don't think that people think it's the worst.
There is still some of that in some places. It's not as bad as it used to be though. But like I have an actual life I have to deal with.
Yeah. I think it's just like anything. It's like as you increase the distance and the how challenging the event is, I think the mental toughness, or the toughness in general, I think that is thought to be commensurate with that, right? Like, if you can sign up for if you could sign up for an ultra, you should know what you're signing up for, right? Like, So I get that.
Yeah,
I get the mentality, right?
Like that you should have enough fire in you that you're not quitting, and like if you DNF, then you quit. And and maybe it's just because my attitude is very different about it that I think I even wrote in my post today that it takes more strength to know when to pull it sometimes 100%. Than when to keep like moving forward. And both of those take strength in different ways.
Yep.
Yeah, like if I had some like blisters on my toes or whatever, I would have just taped them up and kept going.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been it. It was because it was the bottom of my feet where I had to say, if my feet get wet for the next 4 hours, regardless of what I do, they're going to tear up
I don't
my
think
feet.
we knew that it was going to rain all night. That was one.
Yeah.
Two, the storm was literally on top of us,
it.
and we needed it literally we needed to make a
decision.
split-minute decision of like, do you think otherwise, if it wasn't about to start absolutely torrentially pouring, I think that we could have taken like a half hour of time, because these races are 30 hours. You can take a half hour.
Yeah.
I
was going.
We saw many people take more than a half hour at our aid station.
With as slow as I went for those 7 or 8 miles, I still had plenty of time back.
Yeah, and I'll talk about that in a second. But like, we didn't have time to sit there and like, I was going to talk about how Greg and I were watching your paces. We didn't have time to have him sit in a chair, look at his feet. There was even like a nurse who was like, if you want me to look at his feet, and I have plenty of stuff to wrap them in, he might be able to move on if you can put the 2 toes together so that the one toe is not rubbing against the shoe. But like, we didn't have time for that because it was about to torrentially pour.
Yeah. And lightning.
So it was sort of like, okay, I guess we're just making this decision that we're just going to pull it. And in the end, it was the right decision because it poured all night long and your feet would have been wrecked.
Yeah.
Yes, which I knew. See, you guys didn't know I had the blisters on the bottom.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Because we didn't have time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it was literally starting to rain as I sat in the chair.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew I had to, like, the toe was not the issue. I would have taped up the toe and kept going. I don't care about that. That was fine. It is what it is. That it wasn't going to get any worse. It is what it is. The blisters on the bottom of my feet are what I had to stop for.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah. I mean, so Greg, having done these before, he actually had a spreadsheet where he had stuck the cutoff times into based off of a 30-hour cutoff or 30-hour. And then he had like a goal, a quote unquote goal of like 26 hours basically in one column, and what times he had to be at each mile in order to keep on that pace versus like what he did for like, I think his maybe Yeti race or the Daytona. I'm not sure which race he had put in there to sort of see where it lined up for his 27 hours to see. So we always had a kind of an idea of where he was on a pace chart to see like what kind of pacing he was doing. And he was doing amazing. He was always up until 45-ish, a little after that. Yeah. He was more than 2 hours ahead of the 26-hour mark.
Yeah.
So he was pacing on a 24-hour. He was pacing on a 24-hour pace. So we knew that as long as he could keep going at that to like 50 to 60, he was banking enough time. So even as we're he's calling us and telling us he's got these toe issues, and we're watching his times tick up and away. By the time he got to us, or we got to him, he was still at the 26-hour pace mark. So he still technically had plenty of time. And that's what we sort of said to him. And he was like, what kind of pace would you have to keep if you had to walk the next 45 miles? And anything more than, say, a 22-minute mile, and he wouldn't make the final cutoff. And so it was like, I don't know that you can walk for that long on these feet for 45 more miles.
Yeah.
Well, I knew I couldn't because I knew what was going on the bottom of my feet.
Yes.
Which you guys didn't know at that moment.
But coming into that aid station, that was sort of where our mindset was that we thought that he might be able to continue if he could do an 18 to 20 minute pace, continuing to move forward until, say, 70. And again, the weather, I mean, it was carnage out there when that weather came in.
Ooh.
But
because it was windy too. It was like severe thunderstorms.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
But no, I felt good otherwise though. Like I paced well, I ate well, I drank well. My legs still felt good even at the end. Even like yesterday and today, my calves aren't sore really. My hips are tight and stuff like that, obviously. But I think if it wasn't for the blisters on the bottom of the feet, I could have easily kept going. I mean, I don't know if I would have made it through the night or not with everything else that ended up happening throughout the night. But regardless, I could have kept going at a pretty good pace. If not for, I could see 20 miles out. I still would have been really solid pacing.
Yeah.
But I mean, the decision not to have the drop bag ended up costing me because everything just it was like one small thing just.
Yeah, because if you're saying that you could have changed your shoes.
I didn't have the blisters at 50.
Yeah.
they happened between 50
And I think the
55.
blisters happened because you were overcompensating in the way you were walking
Yes,
in
I had
order
to walk
to
weird because of
because of the
foot.
toe.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, So I don't really feel bad about it when it happened because I was like, there's like
He was in better
I
spirits
smashed
than
my
I expected
toe,
when we
like,
got to you.
Yeah.
When we got to him.
Well, I think because like blister, like I don't care how fit you are. When you get blisters coming on, like that's crippling. And
Yeah.
at least and you felt that your level of fitness and your level of preparation, you could have done that 100 miles, right? Like you felt like,
well, I would have had a chance.
Yeah. But like, I mean, you had to make a decision whether or not you were going to cripple yourself for a couple weeks or,
Like if I could have just sat home all week and worked from home or whatever, yeah, maybe I would have said, all right, tape up the bottom of my feet. Let's just go. We'll just do it. I'll push through. But I can't do that. Like, that's just not what my job is. So I can't do that, and I can't like just take, granted, I'm fortunate and do have a lot of sick time, but I'm not going to just like bang out 7 days of sick or 5 days of sick time because I want to walk through the rain for 45 miles.
Yeah, and the few people I know who did do that, their feet are
a mess.
Because because we knew a lot of people in this race, and Katie, who finished the race, I was talking to her today. I mean, her feet are a mess, and she did even at her like the last 8 stations when she had 11 miles to go, she had she had people pep talking her, and she almost didn't make the cutoff because she finished at like 29 hours. So she was calling her husband in her recaps. She was talking about how she called her husband and she wasn't sure she was even going to make the cutoff because this race was carnage when it came to that. Like it ripped people apart. Then now we know the statistics too. And Greg and I had sort of talked about it during and after the race and with Michael too. So there were 200 people that were signed up for the race. 21, 28, 20 something did not start.
18.
No, there was more than that.
That was 21.
It was 20 something that did not start.
It was 21.
And there were only 89 finishers.
Yikes.
In this race. And some pretty seasoned veterans who didn't finish, people I know that have run 10 plus 100 milers. It started out unseasonably warm and humid. A thunderstorm came in and tore through the area. And then it rained all night that no one was expecting. And there was puddles that were ankle deep. People were wading through. It just was
absolutely not
unfavorable conditions all around. And then add blisters and gnarly feet. And there was just everything was stacked against people.
We didn't talk about this, but we did the Operation Pause for Home event that we've done for the last 3 or 4 years. On Saturday night, we're if it's still raining in the morning, we're not going to this 5K. And then we woke up in the morning and just hung around too long. And I was I'm just going to do the mile walk instead of the 5K. That's where I am.
We drove an hour.
So I could walk a mile.
Do a mile walk.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, if it was just a toe, it would have been fine. Or if it was just a toe and blisters on my toes, I could have taped them up and kept going. The problem was it was the bottom of my foot, and I had to make that decision. I just couldn't risk it. It just because I knew my feet were I didn't know it was going to rain all night, but I knew my feet were going to get very wet in the next, say, 2 hours after that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was going to be more than that because it was going to have to be until I got to Batona campground that I was going to get dry shoes again.
Yeah, because there was no other crew stations until then.
So now you're looking at 3 to 4 hours. My feet are going to be wet.
Yeah.
And that's if they don't get wet again.
And that was if it didn't keep raining. And it kept raining, which obviously at that moment in time, we didn't know it was supposed to rain all night because it wasn't originally supposed to.
So, but thankfully because I had eaten properly and had all the calories and hydration and stuff, I was able to as I was willing myself to get to mile 55 in pain, I was able to like assess what was going on because I wasn't like out of it. Because I had like because that time while I was walking, I made sure I just ate as much as I could.
Yeah.
So I had a ton of calories and I was like super coherent and I knew what was going on. I wasn't like, sometimes you get in that running haze,
Yeah.
like in a long race, and you're just like, you don't know where the hell you are. Well,
Mhm.
I was not in that at all because of,
Yeah. Well, good.
I had a long period of time where I wasn't in that. So I was able to at least make a decision pretty comfortably.
I mean, I
that was
think
part of it,
Greg and I
too.
knew even when we got to you that even though we had said that you were on pace, we had a feeling that we went there knowing that it was likely we were pulling the plug, because at that point Greg was like, man, guess I'm not going to get to run tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was there
I felt
to
bad.
possibly
Yeah.
pace. No, you shouldn't feel bad. I mean, he came up
I mean,
knowing
it happens. It's part of 100
I mean,
miles.
yeah,
It is
he
what it is.
came up here knowing 100% what a 100-miler entails.
Like, literally
so
anything could happen. And it wasn't even anything big that happened. It just was something small, another small decision about the drop bag, and it all just kind of snowballed. Like,
Yeah.
you have to prep for those things. And I those were the mistakes I made that I would change.
Yeah.
But I absolutely would lean on how I paced it and do this going forward.
Yeah, he did amazing. I mean, he paced it amazingly. I mean, we had other friends that, had said, oh, well, like, we'll hang with Michael. And I was like, no, I don't think that's what he wants. I think he has something in his head. And I was really, because he had said, well, we'll see who I'm with. But I'm glad that he decided that he was just going to kind of do his own thing.
Yeah, well, I stayed with like Megan and Kurt and them for like a mile, and
They went out fast.
And I looked, and it was like 10:30 and a 10:30 mile, and I'm like, nope, that was mile 1. I was like, nope.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not gonna happen. I was like, I
Yeah.
got to dial this way back. So
Yeah,
I saw my man Justin, who saved me.
I saw him and talked to him many times.
The guy who saved me that time I got sick in the woods.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
He was doing
quite a
it.
number
I
of
don't know if he
times.
finished or not. I would actually have to check the finishers.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. Saw him a bunch of times.
Yeah, we saw pace. Being able to crew was really awesome. I got to, or not crew, volunteer. I met a ton of really great people. We did fireball shots at our
God, you guys
at
with
our
the
station.
fireball. Blech.
Yeah, we had a good time. Greg and I, we really enjoyed getting to see everyone, getting to talk to everyone, filling everyone's bladders, bottles. I think that we were a little sad that we didn't get to see the end of people's stories, but I mean, in the end, we were there for Michael, so that's all that mattered to us. But yeah, I mean, the being in the text chat was interesting because so there's a group chat that basically, as people are coming through, if they're DNFing, it has to go through the whole network, because as people come into each aid station, we have to mark that you got to our aid station so that we always know where all the runners are and who's DNFing and who. So the next, it's like number 89 is DNF. So that way the next people can cross them off their list and know that they are not expecting those people to come through. So at some point it just became carnage. It was like DNF, 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 DNF. This number is not going on. This number needs a ride. This number.
Oddly, right
insane.
when the rain started.
It was insane. And then we woke up and it was even worse because the night it rained even more than they were expecting. So it was like we left and there had been 30. We woke up and there was like 78. It was insane. My friend Megan, she made it to mile 89. It was her first 100-miler also. And then today she writes this post that's like, you would think 11 miles after 89 would be a cakewalk. And I'm like, who thinks that?
No one thinks that.
No one thinks that.
That's not something people think.
No one thinks that. Like, even like the extra miles where a marathon is 26 and Tom was like, well, I'm going to do this great saunter thing and it's 33. And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, there's no way. Like that extra, like, I don't
Yeah.
even know. What is that? Like set like 8 miles or whatever? I'm like, absolutely not.
It's only 5.
It's only
well,
like
the Great
5.
Saunter might
Well,
be
the great,
6,
yeah.
but
Well, the Great Saunter, because they added the extra miles, but a
Yeah.
50K is technically only 5 more than, yeah.
Whew.
So
Yeah.
super proud of everyone who
Yeah.
towed the line.
Yeah.
The
It's a deceptive race, man. It's
the
because
sand.
The thing is, this is the other thing I would do. I would wear gaiters in this race,
No, that's right.
so I don't get sand in my shoes.
What
Yeah.
are
'Cause
gators?
I think they basically keep their covers that keep sand and debris out of your shoes.
They're like almost
Wow.
socks that cover the
Yeah.
where your feet
a lot
go
of people
into.
were wearing them.
Yes.
And honestly, I run out there a lot,
Gotcha.
but this is very different. You're going so far.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it for the Batona 55, but I would definitely do it for this.
And I think it's partly because the sand is so fine,
It's
it goes through
very
all the
fine.
holes
Mhm.
too. It's like it kind of gets everywhere, and I think that may have even been part of the blister
Blisters.
I
problem
think that's what it
because there was like
yeah.
fine sand
It
underneath
was like
his feet.
embedded in my socks
Woo.
and in my feet because
Yeah.
it's so fine. It will literally come like through
Yeah,
the
it's
side
sugar
of the
sand.
shoe, yeah. But that's one thing I would do. I think next year I would just volunteer because I like volunteering at this rather
says
than
that now.
Yeah, volunteering is very interesting. I know volunteering. Let me help. People are already starting to talk about redemption. Volunteering is very fun. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. And like I said, getting to hear and see people's stories, and they're so thankful for people being out there. I know at our aid station we were like a well-oiled machine with like Greg taking numbers and me and a couple of the other girls like filling water. I met some great people, Chris and Max and Michelle. They were all really fun.
Awesome.
We had a great time.
Love that.
So
yeah, I guess overall, like I'll probably go for 100 again at some point, but like I don't like maybe if it was a few years ago, pre-pandemic, I'd have been like,
immediate.
beat down about it and be like, I really need to get on this now. Like I am interested in doing one because I have the fitness right now and
Yeah.
all that, but like I don't know. I don't know. I just look at everything very differently.
Yeah.
now
It's
than I
good.
did
It's
then. It's
progress.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
progress.
I want to do it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I was
Time.
again. I was super proud of you for making sure you stayed on your paces that you had said, because I
Yeah.
think that's something that like
It's
we
easy
talk
to go
about.
out so fast, and it's easy
and,
to not do that. Yeah.
Also that you didn't get into your head as much as you sometimes do.
So, like 2 weekends ago, I went on a hike. Well, when you guys were at Springtime Surprise, I went on a hike with my friends, Alex and Sherry. And it was in the Patapsco, and it was beautiful. It looked like Fern Gully. Michael, and we got to the Cascade Falls, and we started to hear some music. And we get down to the falls, and there is a girl
Oh yeah, I love this.
sitting waist, like I guess she was crisscross applesauce in the water, in like a white nightgown, either singing or lip syncing to some R&B song loudly.
Oh my
And
god.
she's being filmed by like 2 different guys,
I love
Oh
it.
my
and they're
God.
surrounded by families.
Oh my god.
I was like,
I'm so jealous I didn't see
I was
this.
like, if Michael was here, I almost videotaped it because I was like, I got to share this with Michael, because all these
Oh my
families are there
God,
to
that's
just
amazing.
like be in the peaceful nature, and this girl is just influencing.
And then Diana's like in there making a music video, like waist deep.
I kept waiting to be the most hated volunteer because all these people are in the group chat like, we have boom boxes and we have lights and we have strobes and we have this, and like half of like 2 of the aid stations are at campgrounds. And I'm like, guys, like just maybe like remember where you are, and that people come to nature to be one with nature, and they're not expecting a like disco in the woods in the middle of the night, because these aid stations are open for the entire night, and none of these people who are poor people who are camping have any. This is like going to Disney on marathon weekend and having zero idea that there's a marathon
race
happening.
going, yeah.
But this is one with nature, and you're at a campground expecting quiet and peacefulness. And instead you have a 24-hour race happening with an aid station that now is planning to have music and strobe lights through the night. And I'm like, maybe this isn't a great idea. And everyone was like, party police.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm the party police.
Party police.
All right. Do we want to wrap up with something good?
I don't know. Have we gone so long we should skip it this week? Or what do you guys think?
It doesn't matter. We might as well just do it. Let's just do it.
I mean, he's got a good 20 minutes to cut.
I'll cut up. Yeah, I can cut a bunch out.
Leave your very intimate argument you just had with each other in. Also, Nikki and Scott did that to me on Saturday. They got in like a legit fight right in front of me.
God.
And Tom wasn't even looking. And it was just me.
Oh,
Look,
man.
This wasn't a fight. I was just trying to say I was proud of him, and he took it in a different direction.
Let's not rehash it.
All right. So my something good for this week should not surprise anyone because Mr. Christopher Jamal Evans released a new film on Apple TV called Ghosted. And it was so cute. Ana de Armas is beautiful and has a weird wig. And it's like an old school, like 90s rom-com. It's very much a la like Romancing the Stone or like that type, except it's a gender swap where she is the secret agent spy and he is just the regular guy who just gets beat up the entire movie. So it was very cute. They've done a ton of stuff together, so they have great chemistry. It had really fun cameos, and even Tom liked it.
I loved it. They're two very attractive people. There was a lot of over the top like violence scenes and stuff like that, which were awesome. But I will say the most unbelievable part of it is the whole movie starts off with Chris Evans being unlucky in love.
Yeah, the most attractive he's ever looked. Like, literally, he's never looked better than he does in this movie. And he's like, can't get a girl.
So,
yeah, everyone go watch it if you haven't. It's so cute.
my something good is there's been new music recently from Dave Matthews Band and Ed Sheeran and the Foo Fighters. So there's going to be a lot of new music this summer, and I am here for it.
My favorite thing is whenever we ask Greg from Rise and Run to do a Tom impression, his impression is just going,
Yes.
I love Dave Matthews.
Yes. That's so
Look.
good.
It makes me laugh so hard every time he does it.
It's accurate.
I didn't even expect him to do it. The first time he did it too, we were like, hey, we're here with Tom. He's like, I like Dave Matthews. We were like, whoa, Diana, and I almost died.
I thought
I'll
I
take
was going
it.
to pee my pants. I
I'll
was
take it.
laughing so hard.
It's fine.
Oh, good.
My something good is Schmigadoon is back as Schmikago,
So great.
and it's been hilarious. I think we're an episode or two behind. but
Yeah, we're a couple
yeah,
episodes
it's been
behind.
pretty good. Yeah.
My favorite part about watching Schmikago, by the way, is Tom has never seen Pippin. So now I've been playing him
that's
random
why you
music.
were trying. Okay.
I've been playing him random music from Pippin, and he's so confused.
Oh my
I
God.
saw that text the other day, and I think I just was in the middle of something, and I never got back to that text when you said that. I'm like, how do you explain Pippin to somebody who
can't.
doesn't know Pippin?
Because it
Like,
doesn't
I
have a
don't-
plot.
It doesn't it's
It's like
I was trying to figure out how you would possibly explain it.
Yeah, you just have to play it and just let it happen. I've never seen it. I've heard it.
Okay. Yeah. My gosh. What is my something good? Oh no, I didn't write anything. I'm going super ridiculous again, and I'm going with Trail Friends. Trail
Oh.
Friends are my something good because I'm a sentimental fool.
I love it.
And I had so much fun this weekend hanging out with the trail community. It made me miss ultra running
You're
quite
going
a
to get
bit.
back out there.
And the trails and being on the trails. But there's just something different about like the support of the running community on the trails from road racing. There's a different feel. And like when people come into an aid station and you're like, hey, what do you need? And like everyone's like filling water bottles for each other and like helping each other and getting each other food. And like, it's just like this communal kind of like event that's happening of misery and love at the same time. And it's like, just, I don't know. It's something that bonds everyone together. And I love it. It's one of my favorite things. And I have a lot of love for at this moment in time.
Oh, I love that.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
That's it.
All right, I can hear this dog is ready to get out of his crate. So
Aw,
I'm
Brian.
gonna wrap us up. I did a search on Google for quotes about blisters.
Oh
You'd
God.
be surprised at how much comes back.
Oh no.
Well, I'm unsure about how I feel about
There's
this.
a lot of religion in here, but
Religious
I will
blisters?
go. I will go with. Apparently, this guy was in the Navy. He's highly decorated. His name is Harry Herbert Miller, and Harry reminds us that
Oh, God.
blisters are a painful experience, but if you get enough blisters in the same place, they will eventually produce a callus. That is what we call maturity.
Interesting.
Yikes.
Well, okay then.
Anything on leaky toenails?
Ew.
Ben Franklin is quoted as saying, "If your toenail starts to leak, stick it in Erin's face."
Oh yeah, it's so bad, guys.
Thank
It's
you
so
all for
bad.
listening, and we will talk to you later.
Bye. I'm gonna go slide into Chris and Violet's DMs and try and convince them to be real friends with me.
Stop.
This is for a bonus. So I learned my my steady pacing and what did I do in the race? I kept all my shins in check and all. That from my bowling days.
Oh, is that
Oh.
okay?
Yes, because I was a very fiery bowler when I started, and then as I got older,
And wiser.
very even keel, and I was
I
much
see.
better. And that's where I was like,
You
I
were
have
channeling
to approach,
that?
I have to approach this like I used to approach
Sick.
bowling. So ultra running and bowling are the same thing.
Same.
Okay. Weird way to end this, guys.
Yeah. I treat
Have a great
them
week.
with the same amount of respect. Bye.
I wonder what other kind
Hey,
of goals our listeners have got.
Gabba goals.
Gobble goal getters.
I also
Oh.
told Tom that I wanted a shirt for Thanksgiving. What did I want it to say?
Gabagoo?
Gobble goo?
Gobble
Gobble,
goo?
gobble,
Gobble
gobble,
gobble
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 goo?
goo?
Gabba goo.
But with like a goose.
Gobble
Or
gobble.
no, like a turkey, like going, like a
Meh.
soprano. Like
Yeah, because that could be taken many weird ways that I'm not sure you want to take.
like a Tony Soprano turkey that
would be
said
good.
gobble goo.
Oh, boy. Ugh.
I want one so bad. That's a goal for me. I want that shirt. Someone make it for me.